session. Let's move on to the closing ceremony. Well, Lihua.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor Wang. Okay, thank you very much for the wonderful chairing of the last session of the 2-day compact program. So first of all, I would like to thank everybody for all the participants and all our plenaries for this 2-day compact conference program. My special thanks would go for Professor McTurnell. So because this conference is actually our annual conference on multimodal communication. So that is why we would love to call that annual mark time. Okay. So since 2018, we have started the first multimodal communication conference, and afterwards, this annual conference has already been a platform for all of the scholars to debate and discuss questions and issues related to multimodal communication, from the very general principles to the intercultural communication, multimodal communication, to this year's issue on emerging computational and technical methods. So every time we have gathered something new and we have benefited some new. And I have to say that, Mark, you are such a fabulous and outstanding co-organizer, and with your efficient organization, and this conference has again been another success. Thank you very much, and this is really sincere thanks. And I would expect our 2021 annual conference on multimodal communication on site in Changsha. And we would love to welcome all of you at our beautiful campus, which will give you definitely surprises. So that it is, my first thanks. And also I would like to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues. So Dr. Yi Jia, Dr. Qin Yong, and Dr. Zhong Ping, and also all of the colleagues who have worked together to make this conference successful. And my thanks also go to our Dean, Professor Zeng Yanyu, who is currently on another conference. So that is why she cannot be for the closing ceremony. And then I would like to take her behalf to thank all of you. And I would like to also thank all of the leaders from our college for the support for this conference. And definitely, I would like to sincerely thank all of our plenaries, including the plenaries today, Ines and Peter, and of course, all the plenary in the last sessions like Jennifer, Lars, Harold, Thiago, just to name a few. I cannot just name all of them, but this is just my sincere thanks to all of them. So now I would like to give the floor to our dear co-organizer, Professor McTurnell, for the closing speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you all. I thank Peter and Ines before, and many of the plenaries, for expressing our gratitude to the organizers there at Hunan Normal University. I have to say, for accuracy, that I have been only one small part of the conception of this conference over the years. In fact, it was President Zheng Hongjin who came up with the entire conception of the Center of Cognitive Science. Dean Zheng Yanyu and co-director Bai Zhihong provided full input in trying to figure out how we could do something that would be very distinctive to serve the world. It would be based at Hunan Normal University, but it would really serve the world. And it was a great pleasure for me, and I was a great beneficiary of all the organization and insight and inspiration that in fact came from China. And of course, as you have seen, our current organizers have been absolutely flawless in conducting this. the oversight of this conference is, the overview of this conference is along the lines of all the previous conferences that we've run. That is, we consider communication as a phenomenon. Human beings have been doing these kinds of things for at least 50,000 years. There are now 8 billion people all over the world, and any scene of human interaction is a scene of human communication. This is a level of data. Others, right? Astrophysics, neuroscience. Just think of all the communication. And where is language? Where is a communicative system? Well, it is in the performances of human beings, all of them. How can we possibly find out what is going on in all this vast data? How does communication work? It's a little bit like Babylonians looking at the sky and trying to figure out how can we possibly get a model, a handle on all the stuff we see in the sky and how it moves, right? And you have seen in this conference consideration of certain kinds of theoretical constructs and models, conceptual frames, conceptual blending, interaction, and the role of the body in communication, conceptions of time and space as expressed in language, form meaning pairs, which we now call constructions, including constructions that have gestural counterparts and constructions involving color terms and the relationship between constructions, gestures of various sorts, including hand trajectories, acoustic durations in speech and their relationship to the body and meaning, multimodal negation, fabulous amount of data there. I remember a really brilliant linguist of negation being asked by one of his relatives, wait a minute, you mean you're still working on negation? He'd been working on it for 30 years, of course, and had barely scratched the surface. The complexity of these things is amazing. And he, of course, was not even looking at multimodality. And all of this in several languages where we see these shared basic mental operations deployed to produce somewhat different products. That's the nature of cultural evolution. And we have seen a range of emerging methods for conducting this research, for actually getting a handle on this data, gathering the data, coordinating the data, wrangling the data, analyzing the data. We've seen techniques that use a human being in the loop, but provide that human being terrific assistance. Machine learning, computer vision and analysis, automatic tagging of various sorts, various new tools of natural language processing, natural language generation, and computational corpus linguistics. But when Red Hen was first put together, the main hope was not actually technological. It was sociological. That is, what we need is a worldwide, global collaboratory where everyone knows each other, everyone works together, everyone shares data, everyone shares analysis. And since the data are worldwide and interactive, the researchers need to be worldwide and interactive. The main impulse came from genomics in the early 2000s. We saw genomics rocket forward as a field because instead of the people in genomics, instead of working in tiny little silos in individual laboratories, each with their own data, which they reviewed privately and summarized a little bit and published maybe in an article 5 years later, they said, no, now we've got this thing called the World Wide Web. We're going to put all of our data on the web. We are going to start to have interactive analyses. And I would see, people in Australia say, well, we've got this part, we seem to have this result, but we're missing this. And then someone in Brazil would say, well, actually, we have a technique for that if you modify it a little bit. And someone in Canada would say, well, actually, we've got this other part. And so things move forward very, very much. And in Hunan Normal University, I was inspired by the leaders there and the conceivers that Hunan Normal University could be a landmark, headquarters for organizing exactly this kind of intellectual research sociology, to bring people together from all over the world that would share the latest data, the latest techniques, come to know each other, work with each other, and form a worldwide global collaboratory. And that is what we are seeing here. And we are grateful to our audience, to our speakers, and to all the people at Hunan Normal University for making this vision a reality. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much for the inspiring words. And we would love to, and I think that will be definitely the case, that everybody will be welcomed and invited for the on-site annual Multimodal Communication Conference at our beautiful campus. And we are going to welcome all of you in Changsha next year. Yeah. Thank you very much for all of the participants. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.